Well, I went away. I went to Hamilton Island and then I went to Apollo Bay.
Oh,
and
holiday much?
Yeah, I took the kids away. And, Melbourne was away last week, weren't they?
Everyone was
on holidays.
away.
Everyone was at the G, but Melbourne weren't there. So, I might as well have been away as well.
It's the classic, let's put that one behind us, fellas.
Yeah, move on.
Move on quick.
It's our fault they lost because we didn't do an episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'll win this week. I don't know, it's a bye.
It threw them from their normal routine.
Yeah, they normally would watch us, listen to us, get inspired, get on the ground and, let's do this.
Hey, I enjoy doing the podcast from David Neatz's rooftop bar.
Fantastic.
It is so good there, so much so that we're going to do it again. We're looking at the Richmond Anzac Eve game. So that's a Wednesday night next
Wednesday.
So if you're in the area, and you should be, because it's going to be a huge night. Hopefully we get some really good weather, but it doesn't matter because Neata's put some new retractable roofs into his rooftop bar at Brewmanity. Get down there. He's just ordered in these fire pits or the heaters as well. So, David, your Reynard is going to be fine.
Oh, yeah, I've got problems with that. Yeah. Well, we're going to have Greenie on tonight, and he looks after fire and things. So if we've got fires going on, he can come down too.
He would have done all of that for Neata's pub, made sure it's fireproof.
So Wednesday next week, the night before Anzac game, it's Richmond home game at the G.
So it's an away game for us. So hopefully we can get you all down to David Neat's pub. It's really great there. We'll have some music as well after our podcast, and we'll do a bit of a chat from there before the game, and maybe halftime as well. So we're putting last week's game behind us. It wasn't anything wonderful to talk about. I don't think there was
any highlights,
really.
There was one goal at the start of the game that I thought was pretty impressive to level the scores at 13-all.
And it went downhill from there. Colton was, I think if it was a different opposition and Brisbane were playing like they did before North Melbourne played them into form the week before, he would have been really, really good.
Yeah, Brisbane looked pretty good. Yeah, well, hey, Melbourne and Brisbane have got the wood on Melbourne. I'm telling you, each time, apart from that, the year they won the grand final, 2021,
yes,
they went up to the Gabba and won that game, and that one was
we beat them. Remember, famously, Melksham kicks that goal at the end of the game at the MCG.
I was on my way home. I thought they'd lost.
But we've had some decent hit-outs
really.
against them. One of my great mates is Brad Green. Came out of Tasmania, the north of Tasmania, near Launceston, Georgetown, that way, as a really talented sportsman. He spent some time in England, just like your good self. But he was there not for a work. He was there for Manchester United as one of those. Did you watch the Beckham documentary? You know how he was there as a very young man and they groomed them through. Greenie told us that was him. He did that as probably a 14, 15-year-old. He was cleaning the boots for all the superstars of the team back then.
How do you go from Tasmania?
He was that good.
Jeez.
Manchester United got him over. And
That's proper scouting.
He decided didn't like it and came back, tried cricket on.
The weather was crap. And then you're from Tasmania. So.
No, it was pretty much bang on the same.
Yeah.
Cricket, he was very good at that as well. Probably could have done that as his sporting pathway, but chose football because he was really, really talented. And we saw those talents in the red and the blue. And weren't we lucky to have him? He was an absolute superstar.
Good, great guy, great leader.
And we've got him on the show. In fact, he's here now. Should we get him on?
We probably should.
Let's do it.
All right.
Did well to Maloney to Sylvia, 55 metres out, giving it a ride, floats towards the opposite pocket and Green.
And Fremantle. I don't know. Here's Scully.
Getting back to Melbourne, they've got some winnable games coming up.
Green running in the same direction.
Oh, look at that. That's courage. That's what you want from your captain. You've got Stephen Martin, you've got Brad Green, both eyes on the ball. That's fantastic.
He wants it in long and high. I think Morton's going to go and kick to Jara. Big fly and Green. Yes! He's kicked four.
Go for it. The great man, Brad Green, joins us on a Very Melbourne podcast. It doesn't get much better, Davo, does it?
I don't think so.
You know?
Well, if you weren't here, it might be actually better. Or maybe not me too.
For a Melbourne supporter, they'd be loving this. Hello, Brad.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've got the added bonus of having you because you're not only are you an ex-player and champ and everything to the Melbourne Football Club, you're also board member now.
Current board member. It's it's 4 years, Robbo.
Did you ever think when you were playing for Melbourne, you'd be on the board?
A little kid from Georgetown in Tasmania coming over and hopefully was just hoping to play a game, let alone play 12, 13 years what I did, and then currently on the board.
But
so
you had to put a serious cap on all of a sudden and sit on the board.
So, mate, it's been happening, but it's been a busy time. But no, I enjoy it. It's what a great club to be a part of at the moment. It's I was having a conversation with someone the other day about our training complex that we have, that they call it the standards that we used to have, and I said just the difference that we had compared to what the players have got now. We've got Casey, we're doing the feasibility study at Caulfield, and what that's going to be like. But I was literally saying that we didn't have enough. Our ice machine broke down one day, and 40, our high performance coach, literally goes to us, boys, text message, you got to bring a kilo of ice in, because our ice machine had broken down and we had to fill out literally bars just to get in all the bins. The big green bins, household bin that we have.
40 blokes brought a bag of ice to the club.
Stop past 7-Eleven and pick up a bag of ice. What are we playing here? We're not coming from Georgetown in Tassie. We're playing AFL footy.
Did you claim that on tax? I did.
That's like a good Mick Moldhouse story.
$4 for a bag of ice. But someone like Nathan Brown, Doggy Brown, who played our Nathan Brown, he did that every night anyway, didn't he? He would drive home literally and buy a couple of bags of ice, fill up his bath at home. Well, he had to, because he had one of those bodies. But he was so regimented like that. Now, and it's so coincidental that you say that, because I was just at the Foundry, which is around the corner from here in Moorabbin, Cheltenham. It's one of those. And it is so professional, and it's the opportunity for any person to do what an AFL player does. And it's phenomenal. I went out to Casey Fields the other day to have a look at what they've got out there, mate. It is.
Oh, it's first class. And we're probably going to be the first AFL club to have two separate sites. One because you need it now, because you're looking at, you got AFLW, you got the men's program, you got the VFL program, you got VFLW. You need all these grounds. So in the end, the two complexes are going to sort of mirror each other and be helpful in the long run, I reckon.
What do you mean two? So obviously we know we've got Gosh's paddock and everyone that lives in the CBD, which is the Melbourne heartland. A lot of Melbourne supporters in and around, Yarra, around the Yarra and Toorak. And where are we going to have this place? We've talked about it for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's still not over the line yet. And I'm probably speaking a little bit out of school here, but it's we are doing a feasibility study at the Caulfield Racecourse at the moment to basically propel our whole program, and ever since I've been aligned with the Melbourne Football Club, and what's that, 25 years, we've never had our admin staff. If you're looking at, your CEOs, your exec team, your finance, the sales, all those guys, the membership department have never been in the one building as our football department. No one. Every other club is it's all one club, and sometimes that's why we're so separate with a lot of things, what's going on. And hopefully, it's been a long time coming that we can get this over the line, so that we're doing a feasibility study and really tick this off. It's not over the line yet, but we're getting there, and hopefully we can have that in the next sort of 6 to 12 months done. Not finished, done, but feasibility and all the ticks and crosses that you need to go ahead and make it happen.
Davo, it's not like the West Coast Eagles, who have for a long time been in the one place where it's so easy. So if somebody from marketing or membership wants to, talk to someone in the football administration, they do have to walk a little way across the road. I mean, you can send an email, but it's not that touchy-feely sort of place like, it's probably bad saying. You're not close enough to actually just yell out and have that conversation, and it's important.
Look, when you're walking into, and I've done it at a few other clubs, you can just walk. Basically, the football department's got the whole of downstairs.
So you were at Carlton and North Melbourne. Yeah.
North Melbourne is, once I finished and finished playing at Melbourne, I was assistant coach at Carlton for 3 years and did 2 years at North Melbourne.
Now, what was that like? Tell me about Carlton.
Look, I used to be a Carlton supporter growing up as a kid, and barrack for the Blues pretty heavily.
Thanks for coming on, Brad.
In the 80s and 90s, and they were going well back then. But it was, working with Mick Moldhouse in their coaching department, crossing basically 2012, I retired straight into 2013, straight into the coaching world. What a fantastic football club and an organisation they are. They got powerful supporter base, powerful members and sponsors, and their inner sanctum. I think they're Carltonians or whatever they call themselves. Very powerful people of the organisation. So, yep, fantastic.
But the question really I should ask is having it all in one place. The training facility is elite. We can see it. It gets better. Is the administration right there? With
So they had the administration and the football department all in one, but I think it's even better now because since I've left, they've done the whole indoor kicking centre. The I think the AFLW program is next door. So it's basically all in the one integrated big warehouse. Big, that takes up half of Visy Park, I think. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. And it has taken too long to find. But where do you find 15, 20 acres in Melbourne? It's, we want to be Melbourne. We are Melbourne. Yeah. We have got the name. We are the Melbourne Football Club, home of the MCG. Yeah. And it's hard to find that space of land anywhere in Melbourne because people take it up. They want to buy it. So
kick Collingwood out.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity way back when I think it was Joe Gutnick was at the time and basically said we couldn't afford it. So we had the chance to get that. Well, the first ones offered it, but we didn't do it.
So, Greenie, we've got money there now. We've got money in the bank now, don't we? We sold the Bentley Club. We got cash, yeah? I mean...
No, with the clubs, we're not in debt, which is fantastic. I remember back in when I was playing, you're looking at $12, $15 million of debt. That's all been wiped off. You're looking at our financials where we're hitting 2 or 3 million, in profit most years. It helps when you're winning games of footy and playing finals and different things. But, we've got a membership of, 70, 75,000 members, huge number. I remember when we were lucky to play in front of 7,000 people at the MCG when it's cold and wet on a Sunday. But our members now turn up and watch us. It's fantastic.
Interesting.
Well, I did go to a Freo game and watched you guys play, and I reckon there was 500 people. Maybe. It might have been hailing that day. You had a win, though, which was good.
We were... pretty ordinary. If you look at what we've got now and what other clubs have got now, you do look back a little bit and go, wow, we were so far behind. And look, not all clubs were as good, back then as well. North Melbourne were, famously a really ordinary organisation out of Arden Street until they went.
Collingwood wasn't a big club. I think it all changed when Eddie came along and they really, they weren't profitable at all as an organisation, and he really grew their brand, and the organisation, the football club, grew with numbers with him. And we've been a little bit the same with our success. We're growing and we're only getting better, and it's been a long road, but we do have a supporter base that is a little bit older in demographic, you would say. And we've got the younger generation coming through with the success that we're hopefully having, and we need to bring generation of supporters through, and it's hard because you look at the Carltons, the Richmonds, the Hawthorns, the Essendons, they've got generation of flags, and if mum and dad go for them and they're seeing success, that's how you get the kids along as well. They all want to. They all want to back winners. You go to the school grounds, they all want to be associated. Their mates don't want to be with any losers.
But also, I think, Granny, it's like we have always had good players at Melbourne and guys that you could, Gary Lyon into Stephen Tinga and the Jim Steins, players that were really, really good. Even Nita when we played, Jeff Farmer. There's superstars there without the success. Then you get now your Max Gawn types and Christian Petrarca and Jack Viney and guys that are really elite players in the AFL, winning close to winning Brownlows, all Australians.
They'll be Hall of Famers in years to come of our football club, no doubt. Clayton Oliver's won 4, might go down as winning 5 or 6 by the time he finishes.
Be close to the GOAT. At the Melbourne Football Club.
There isn't any. What is it? There's only a couple of them that won 4 BNFs. If he wins another one, he's on the pedestal by himself.
Yeah, wow. Unbelievable.
There's still plenty of time to go.
Yeah, so it's a good thing being a Melbourne supporter. We love the MCG being our home ground, and we're a big club now, and that's probably why the media are coming for us.
How long does it take? How long would it take for you to do the feasibility study? And if you're a member now and you're thinking, okay, new training facility and having the club all together in the one facility, how long does that take to bring to fruition?
Oh, it takes years, but you're looking at a generation of you need sustained success, and that doesn't come overnight. And you need to be a club that either you're winning games, you come through with your family, or you're new to Melbourne and you want to pick a team.
Yeah.
We're hoping that people choose Melbourne because we are the city, we are the name, and our colours are pretty good. You know, red and blue is not too bad to choose. You're not picking brown or yellow.
I got some Danish friends, and my wife's a big Melbourne supporter, so she was just straight away, there you go, there's your Melbourne scarf, come to the game with us. And so makes it an easy sell.
And it's not bad sitting the MCC if you want to with our supporters, and even the ones on the outer, the Demon Army behind the goals, they're great people. They're great.
Yeah.
I've met so many different supporters in all spectrums of life, coming from Tasmania to Darwin to WA, and our supporter base is now not what you think. It's totally changed, and it's great to see people that are passionate Melbourne supporters, which is fantastic.
Tell me about your first year when you came to Melbourne. We don't want to hurry this along because I think you've got a few meetings to get to as well tonight yourself. You come to Melbourne in 2000?
2000 was first year.
First year. I'd already had a couple of years at the club. 97 I arrived. And we had like 3 or 4 young kids that came through that year, and you knew straight away these guys are going to be good. And I reckon we all lifted. We're like, wow, we got some real young talent coming in. It's important, and you're feeling that at the moment with Harley Reid over there in the West Coast Eagles. And on the back of him, players are starting to lift, aren't they? I mean, let's be honest.
It's one game.
It's one game, but it's one game. But it's confidence.
It made a big difference.
Is a huge thing.
Yeah.
You got older guys like Elliot Yeo all of a sudden going,
Yes.
right, actually, I better stand in the right position in the centre bound setup and actually give myself a chance. Whereas weeks before, he was just getting it completely wrong.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing with kids is there's no expectation. They can go out there and just play.
yeah.
Where senior players have been around for a long time, they got expectation. They have to stand in
Weighed
the right
down
spot.
by
There's game plans now that you need a university degree to understand.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're not very smart, some of them.
Well, wasn't it? It was like back when we first started, Green and I were told, just go out and play, son.
Didn't you guys
Go out
do
and
that?
play.
Though? There was a period where you won a whole heap of games in a row by playing a real unorthodox style.
Well,
and you
with Neil, I
surged.
remember in 2000, I made my debut round 2000, and I think it was about round 10. We got beaten by Carlton by about 110 points.
Yeah.
And Neil came into the change rooms after the game, absolutely give it to us, like no tomorrow. And from that point, we didn't lose a game until grand final day. We went on this big run. So it was about 12, 13 games.
It was the Cats and then Carlton, 2 massive losses. Then we went away down. I think it was down the coast, one of those places, and we had a night or two together, and we had meetings and we talked about it, and we just lightened the load a little bit, and we came back and we were just on fire from there.
It was unbelievable. I reckon a few times, probably 3 or 4 times, we went in at 3/4 time and we're down by 15, 20 points. But we had this belief that in the last quarter, no matter what position we were in, that we'd always run over them. I don't know what 40 did with that jungle juice or whatever he used to give us, the potion that it was. But we had this fitness
Hey, just
backing.
mate. We like you to investigate it.
It was an but what it is, whatever it is, it's either a mindset. We probably weren't fitter than anyone, but we believed in each other no matter what position that we're in, that we're going to keep coming. We had the mental toughness or the capability or the legs or the belief that we're going to keep coming, and we did. We won games by coming from behind, and we always would win them.
And the highlight of that, Davo, was against Carlton in the semi-final. One of the most, I think it's probably one of the most, if not the most famous victory for the Melbourne Football Club. I showed you the footage of that.
Yeah.
Bradley's kicked 4 goals and a half in that game, along with his mate Cameron Bruce. They just tore it up. But you could just see young, fresh-faced kids just like, how good's this? We're out of the MCG against the Blue Baggers. No less.
And I still believe it was my favourite game to play in, the loudest I've ever heard a crowd. We had 75, 80,000 there. And literally that second half, we're getting pumped in the first half. Like, we were nowhere. Yeah. And Neil literally threw the magnets around and we changed it up. But he said, just take the game on. I still remember the speech at 3/4 time. He said, wheel and go. He used to love say, you get it forward to centre, just wheel and go. Someone will create something in the forward line. Because if you play slow, stagnant footy, your ball movement is not flowing. All I remember, he just said, keep it flowing, and move the ball.
I'm fascinated by how you lost by 110 and then you didn't lose the game for the rest of the year. Was it the coaching influence? Was it the team all just going, we got to give it a shot.
Yeah, so you lose by 110 points, 12 weeks ago, and then in the final you're down by 30 and you get up over the line. It's the answer or the question is I actually don't know. Well, what was the change?
You can only speculate. Like I said to you before, the weight and the heaviness of expectancy to do well, because in 98 we were fantastic, and then in 99 I think we were pretty ordinary. We're getting better in 2000, and it got to the middle part of the year when it gets pretty heavy, it's cold, and you're getting a little bit tired. There's no breaks like there is sort of now, and the recovery wasn't like it is now, and you feel something small becomes big. And for us, it just became huge. And two big clubs at the time, North Melbourne and Carlton, gave us a good spanking. And I think that meeting that we had down, let's just say it was Sorrento or something like that, the shackles are off now. That was no good. You're no good. You might as well just go out and play. And then we did. We came out and played like absolute crazed idiots until the end of the year. But we played with a hopeful abandon. It's interesting you say he threw the magnets around. He threw 21 magnets around. He didn't throw. He left one magnet in one place that day, me on the bench. I did something in, I reckon, the first quarter. I was playing on Simon Beaumont, who you got, I think, after that. Yeah. And I think I may have let Simon just get the ball and get past me, and I didn't really sort of wake up to what was going on quick enough.
As in you didn't take
my papers were stamped. And that ass is not going back on the field today, and I didn't.
It's amazing, though, when you're back in the day, because I reckon I spent a lot of time on the Pine in that first year or two because rotations weren't a thing. Yeah. If you're sitting on the Pine at the start of the day, you know you're not getting on until about halfway through the second, and you might come on for Wizard for give him 5 or 10 minutes break. That's literally what it was. Like you play your first 20, 40 games, literally playing 20 minutes to 40 minutes of football.
Not like that anymore.
Rotations now, you're doing 160 rotations. You're on and off. You're doing 5 to 10 minute spurts. Back then, you're on the Pine. You are on the Pine. And you put in, the big gowns that you put on. And then you go, I'm running past the coach's box. So
I'm here still.
Can you throw me on? I'm ready to get out and play.
He did it with a smile on his face. I would have given him the big stink eye as I'm going past. I'm shattered.
Was it even back then the trainer telling you to go for a run? Or were you just going running past the box going, I'm ready?
Well, you knew it was every 7 and 10 minutes. You better get up and have a bit of a jog in case you need to go on.
And we're like, we're not going on. We're not going on. You got Jeff Farber and Schwartz and Neats out there. We're doing star jumps just so he'll notice us. I'm warming up.
It literally was. It was so weird. Like you think now, and you go, "Oh my god, we were actually like that." It was like the old soccer sub. You were subbed number 14 on, change on for number 18 or whatever.
In a lot of ways, though, now it's really good because if you play bad in the first 6 minutes, and say your first rotation is 6 minutes, and most midfielders would rotate after 6 minutes, but forward probably a little bit longer. I don't know. Yeah. But you knew that if you're going to go off. Now you're going to go off, but you're going to go back on because the way the game's played now and the science of energy and, keeping the energy up here and not fluctuating, you have to go back on. Back then, you were stressed.
You didn't get a kick.
I don't get a kick. I'm not going to go off. I'm not going to go back on. No.
You did.
I don't want to miss. And, invariably when you think like that, pink elephants, you don't do well and you miss. So they say, Robbo's a confidence player. Yeah, I'm a confidence player because I'm frigging coming off if I don't get a kick. I'm not going back on.
I remember in our first 4 years, I reckon, at the time where you don't feel comfortable being a senior player, I reckon it was every Wednesday or Thursday that on our day off that come 4 o'clock, if you get past 4 o'clock and Neil hasn't given you a phone call, you knew you were in the sides. Yeah. So it was on the day off, you go, I just got to get past 4 o'clock.
And really? You were like this all day.
Is he going to call me?
Watch clocks are the longest days of our lives.
So the call is you're out, not the call is you're in.
Well, sometimes it would be you're staying on. We've had you're probably getting an inkling of what's happening either way, but we'll give you a call and let you know that type of conversation. We'll call you after we've done selection, blah blah blah. But you get through that 4 o'clock time frame on the day off or whatever it was. I've got through another one.
And he'd say like something like this. I wanted you in, but the rest of the coaches had you out. So I had to go with it. Bullshit, Neil. Didn't have much. Didn't have much in my career. I don't know about you. Only a couple of times I got called.
I didn't get it once or twice, but I was with people sometimes. We're out on the golf course and they would get the phone call because, playing golf on our day off or something, and we're all sitting around, who's going to get the call? Who's going to get this call this afternoon?
4:00.
Yeah, it's great memories. So, being part, I think one thing you do miss when you retire is, being with 40, 45 players every day, and people really don't understand a change room banter and being around with 40 to 45 mates, being on as I am now, being in the workplace, it's totally different.
The real world,
the office, an office environment versus being around a footy club, and the banter and the fun you can have. It's a fun environment, and it's hard, no doubt. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of grind. When it's losing, it sucks. There's nothing worse, but it really is. People take it for granted and nearly got to treat it like it's gold. Once you're in that environment, you don't want to let go of it.
Oh, it was my nightmare was the day I get delisted. I literally feared it like death. That call, I would have nightmares about it and go, oh my God, I dreamt last night I got delisted. That's the honest truth, up until probably 3 or 4 years left to go, and then I didn't really mind. You know, sort of go, well, that's pretty good. I love this and I don't want to go, and I'd love to be like, what Scott Pendlebury is now and going into my 20th year, but that's not the reality
but
for
even
all
that,
of us.
that's, you go, my God, I look back now and you go, played 254 and I'd hate to do it again. You look, playing.
Do you get that? People say, do you wish you could do it all again? I'm like, no.
Well, I do, but I don't, because I go, I don't know how I'd do it. You get
pretty happy with what I did.
You get on the train track and you just go to the next station. You just keep moving and you keep making your way forward and you keep getting better. But you think back and you go, I don't know how I'd do it or what I'd do or where I'd start now.
People say, but you didn't get the premiership. Do you wish you could go back and do it again? Well, of course you want premierships. Of course I wanted to win 13 years, 13 premierships. That would have been amazing. But you've got to be really lucky because there's some guys. And those Hawthorn dudes, they all got like, oh, you're a superstar, you got premierships. He was also really lucky. He got drafted into a group at the right time in the premiership clock. It wasn't the right time for us. It just didn't happen to us. I want to move on from that. I want to talk to you about your post-football. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now work-wise, other than being a director of the Melbourne Football Club.
Yeah, so I'm managing director of a company called GMH Fire and Safety Australia. So we're a service rectification installation business in the fire safety game. So what is that? People will still say every commercial residential property from a shopping centre down to a coffee shop to warehouses to pubs need ESM reports, so essential safety maintenance, compliance, insurance checks, all those. So I'm in that space. So let's say you've got a coffee shop or let's say hairdresser. You might have a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket and some emergency exit lighting. So what we do, we're compliance checkers. We come in and check those things there. If you haven't got any sprinkler systems, fire panels, anything like that, they're monthlies, but these things are every 6 months. So we've got probably a property portfolio of about 2,500, 3,000 properties that we look after. Literally everything from a shopping centre down to a coffee shop. And now we're in the installation. So we're working with developers in and building townhouses and putting sprinkler system tanks, hydrants, hoses, all in brand new warehouses and townhouses now. So I MD that. I've got sort of 7 or 8 full-time cars on the road. We contract in another 6 or 7 that come in dependent on our work and how much we got going. So, it's a bit of fun. I've been doing it sort of 5 or 6 years. Looking after staff is challenging. It's a bit like looking after your own kids and managing those because
it's like when you were the captain of the Melbourne Football Club.
You talk to them literally as your staff. And you sit there and listen, and everyone's not perfect. I'm not perfect. We've all got issues going on in our lives, and there's some stories out there that you've got to sit down and listen and work with your people that you've got. It's rewarding, and I enjoy it. I've really enjoyed my transition into the real world, as people want to say it. It's been great because I had a couple of challenging years.
Well, it's a good message that you say, looking after your people and listening to them. That's really good because everyone
like it.
And everyone has their shit in their life. Now, Davo, what do you reckon we spend the most money in terms of medically, in terms of looking after our people in Australia or all around the world? What do you reckon we spend the most money on?
As in, like, what does the Medicare system speak?
Yeah,
like?
what are your, all of that.
What are you saying? How we look, or
Well, is it, we're spending
Depends
it
on
on,
which suburb.
is it breast cancer research? Is it cancer research? Is it, what do we spend the most
The
money on?
biggest killer in Australia is heart disease.
Heart disease is the biggest killer, but
And second, and actually one of the highest in the world is dementia. I nearly couldn't remember what I was talking about. I was like, wait a second, what's that?
working
disease
beautifully.
where you don't really remember what happened? Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, forgetfulness.
yes,
it's like calling, you have got learning disabilities. Let's call it dyslexia, something really, really hard.
Speech impediment.
Yeah.
Instead of just calling it a speech blare.
Still a whole show on that. Not all
What's
those things.
what's your point?
My point is the thing that I think is the biggest.
You were going somewhere with this, hope.
It's mental health, right?
Oh, okay.
The biggest issue.
Yeah.
And especially for
getting
me.
worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Now, I want to.
Social media doesn't
This
help.
is why I've got you on, Greenie. I wanted, because you've never met Davo, a more positive, happy person, and I reckon it's probably why you were such a good athlete with not just football, with all. You were always so positive about what you were doing, and post your career, you've had some challenges, and we're probably the ones that struggled more through those challenges of yours than you did. And not to say that you weren't obviously really hurt by those things and really destroyed by those things. How did you work through the death of your wife and your father with this beautiful face still on your dial?
it's tough. It's not. Look, it's not easy. It's you don't know until you're thrown into the deep end with it. But I had a lot of good people. I had a lot of friends and family and connections. But in the end, you've got to look inward and say, the sun comes up tomorrow. I've got an 8-year-old and I've got a 6-year-old boy that has just lost their mum. And you go, they've got to keep moving on with life. And you've got to wake up. The sun comes up tomorrow and they are waiting for you and looking for answers and hoping that you're going to be positive moving forward. And yeah, there's some dark days that you've got to go, but you've got to wake up. You've got to be positive. Life does change, and it did. I'm fortunate enough to have found a partner in Katie Price, and we've got a 16-week-old boy in Tommy. So it's been a quick sort of turnaround in certainly heartbreak and in the grieving process. And I'll always grieve. I think that will always be with me. Anyone that's dealt with a death in the family never really gets over it, I don't think. And there's always moments. And look, I'm always mindful of my own children that they're okay, because it's hard to. I think it's for them. It's hard to communicate how they're feeling, being so young, and now they're maturing into teenagers. That's the hardest for them to know that they don't have their real mum, because I've still got my mum in my life and my world. But majority of their life is they're going to be brought up without their real mum, and hopefully Katie has been that motherly figure that they've found in their world now. But you have to be positive, otherwise she's a dark, old, sad world out there that hurts. And I didn't do any psychs or didn't go and see anyone. Don't take any motion pills or anything. It's just you've got to basically. I looked inward. Where can I change my life, and what can I do to help and stay positive and be upbeat, and sometimes it's hard, but you just got to get on with it.
So that's beautiful, wonderful, and I'm so blessed to be able to hear it spoken so eloquently in someone that's gone through it. Your old man as well. You're so close to your old man.
Yeah.
Do you lean on your friends at all, or have your friends been?
The problem is everyone. I don't really know because everyone else has got so much going on. We're all busy, and we're all got so much going on in our lives. And no, I don't. I'm coming up 14 months since Dad passed away. He had leukemia and died after 3 years, and it was probably two to 3 years post Anna. So yeah, I don't. I miss him every day. I'm an only child. Dad was a big part of my life and during my journey and football career. And I think the thing that you miss with death and losing a close relative is that you just want them to pick up the phone and hear their voice behind it. I think that's the hardest thing. You're always waiting for that phone call or them to walk through the door or the next moment that you might see them. I think
it's not going to come.
Yeah, so that's always challenging. But you got to keep moving forward. There's nothing to look back on. That's what I say.
I love that one, Dave, and you can comment next because you're sitting there. I know you've got stuff you want to say about all of this, but with me, I have not had anything anywhere near that. And my mother she lost her mum and dad when she was in the teenage years, which is really important years for a young girl. She used to always say to me, "Oh well, when something bad would happen to me, oh well, you'll be right. Nothing's as bad as what I've gone through. So come on, mate, get on with it. You'll be right." And it taught me well, that okay, right, I have to do this myself. I have a friend. We've got a teammate that's very close friend of ours who sat me down after I went through a divorce, which was, it's not the greatest thing. It's not what you want, and you move out and your life gets thrown into, you're living by yourself in a small little flat for a few years, and you're going, how did I fallen so far? I used to be, and I thought I was going in this direction, which is what you just said. I thought I was going in this direction. All of a sudden I'm doing this, and this is not what I want to be doing, and this is awful. I'm going to miss my son. I don't know how this is all going to work. And you go through dark days, but you don't want to lean on your friends because you don't want to bring them down. You don't want to
throw burden on anyone else.
It's hard for their lives as well. And your mates would say, nah, talk to me, please. I know that. But us blokes and me, I was like, no, I'm get out there, hey, what's going on, man? And everything's good. And then I'd be back home and I'd be like, this is terrible. And literally one of my teammates sat me down after I sort of came through the other side, and with tears in his eyes, tears running down his face, he said he apologised for not asking how I was and helping, because he was going through his own struggles, and he just felt really bad that he knew what I was going through, but he didn't do anything about it, and he was apologising. I was like, it's all good, mate. I love you. It's all good. If anything, I feel really empowered and strong now that I was able to come through that and be better. But, mate, I've never met a stronger character than this one, because I didn't know it when our playing days. I thought, it's just Greenie, just Greenie from Tassie. We're just Tassie boys. But this has shown me the whole other, way, you know what I mean, just of strength.
And I think you mature too. Sometimes you're still like a little kid playing your footy club, and going through adversity, I think you grow up a bit too, and you mature on in life. And I think you find out a little bit more about yourself, that life's tough, but it's not that bad. It's okay. We're still here. Yeah. We still got your life. We've still got things that we can do and move forward to, that no matter what troubles or what problems we're in, we can, like I say to my boys, is that the biggest thing that I always say to them is show respect, but never lie to me. Because no matter what you do in life, murder to the nth degree, to have, I stole a pencil off my mate at school and you don't own up to it, there's nothing worse than a liar in this world. And even if you murder someone, at least we can find a lawyer that can help you. You know what I'm saying is, tell the truth and we can help you and deal with it. Let's deal with these things head on, rather than be backroom chat and manifesto and sit there behind the walls where we can't do anything about it.
Did you learn that through the footy club? Like, I was just wondering, is this the hard things that you've been through as a result of having to do hard things for a long period of your life?
Yeah, I reckon I did. I reckon AFL footy and being in an elite sport and elite programs teach you resilience. And I think that comes over sustained years. I don't think that comes in one or two. It comes over a long period of time, because to do what Robbo and I did to play out AFL footy, there's always someone coming to try and get your spot, or there's a new kid on the block, or there's the training that I've got to get up to. I'm sore and I can't tell anyone I'm sore, but I've got to get up and do it. Or I'm playing with a broken finger and my fingers are busted, and you just got to get out there and play. All that over time, I think, actually teaches you resilience. You are going through adversity, but you'll be right. You can get out there and play, and you can get through things that are, you might have a bit of a sniffle or a broken bone here or there to a degree, that you will get through it and you can do it. So yeah, I reckon I did learn resilience through playing AFL footy, no doubt.
I learned something really quick. And at football clubs, it's instant feedback usually, isn't it? Yeah. Like, I think anywhere else in life, you don't usually get instant feedback.
It's just back to when Tingo pinned you down and pulled your pubes out in your mouth. Or?
That was instant feedback. Literally.
Most men doesn't have pubes anymore. It's all guys.
We actually had pubes then. no, instant feedback. You know where you stand. Out in the real world, we keep saying the real world, you can probably, because you're not living your dream, you're just doing your job, and you've got options. With us, there was no other options but to fight every single day, and you do live through pain or whatever. I don't know where I was going with that because you've absolutely thrown me, but we've got to get you out of here because you've got an event to get to. But Greenie, that's been absolutely phenomenal, and I'd love to talk more about it.
Anytime, let's come back again.
I want to say, so with the passing of your wife, I was overseas, but and I'm sorry about it, but it was funny what you said about your kids, because when we went to the football, my wife's a big Melbourne supporter and used to drag me to see you guys play, even though I was a West Coast Eagles supporter. But it was really easy to get a drink at the bar, and we get access to a lot of the facilities. And turned out with our young girls, we would stand with her actually, and our kids used to play together. And your little boys would be there and kicking the ball around, and my wife would get talking, and he goes, oh, who's that on your jumper? And he goes, oh, that's my dad. And then you're out on the ground, and so yeah, I just think as you think through how you deal with those things, for you to be thinking, I immediately when I heard, I went, oh my God, the kids. Yeah. And for you to be able to be selfless enough to be able to go, I need to raise my kid is
brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's a little bit foreign that you're not divorced from your wife. My kids, I haven't got them week on, week off, or 5 days on, 5. It's literally they're full time with me as a single parent, and that's a little bit different to. So yeah, you are their world. They don't know anything else, and but Anna would want me to bring them up like we'd spoken about, and that's what we're doing. We're giving them hopefully a good life and a happy one.
Yeah, awesome.
Brilliant. There's so much more we can talk about. We've got a short show and we're going to get you back on, but let's go through the bang on game for this week, which is tonight. The game is tonight.
It's Friday, isn't it? Friday game? What's the Friday
Hang
game?
on. What?
No, there's a Thursday night.
The Thursday night game, mate. We got
tonight.
Bang on.
Western Bull.
We do Fridays.
Yeah, okay.
So bang on. So it's
Okay.
But anyway, we have got a game tonight. St Kilda Bulldogs. Who are you going for?
I hope Bevo gets it done and gets a win for the doggies.
I think the Saints will probably win it. I just
Oh, that's good. You guys are.
Hugo Hagen's out. Though.
Yeah, it's a big out.
It's a big out. What do you reckon?
They're under a bit of pressure, the Bulldogs, aren't they?
They are very.
Yeah. I think St Kilda.
Yeah. Okay, well, bang on. He's Adelaide.
Essendon.
It's another good
It's
game.
a big game over in Adelaide.
Yeah.
I think coming off the win last week, I think the Crows can get it done again.
Too.
I think they have to win, yeah.
We'll move through quickly. Collingwood coming back after a break. Port Adelaide had a heavy campaign.
Well.
They're going really well, aren't they?
So the MCGs,
Yeah,
I'm assuming. I actually might go with Port, actually.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I have to go Collingwood.
Do you?
I just can't see how they. I just can't see it.
A lot of tipsters going for Collingwood.
Yeah, I think they have to rebound. A premiership team has to rebound.
They were nearly beaten by Hawthorn last game.
I'm going for Port.
Thank you. Move on. He's not. It's not easy to. It's not easy to change this guy's.
No.
Okay.
The whiskies you had.
How many nunsuds has he had? Carlton GWS, another great game.
Cracker at Marvel.
Yeah.
Look, I think the Giants just, they're
Yeah.
super form. Their
Efficiency at the moment isn't
ball
brilliant.
movement and some of the style of play that they're playing. I think the Giants get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to go Giants
Me
too.
too. I think they learned something last week. You got to play 4 quarters against the Saints. They didn't. They got a little bit.
Saturday's a cracker as well.
Oh,
Brisbane
Lions.
Geelong.
Yeah, it's up there. So,
Just got off the phone
geez.
to my friend Cam Bruce.
Yes,
Just on the way here.
our mate Chris Fagan's got him going.
He said, "How'd we go last week?" I said, "Mate, you flogged us, didn't you?"
Yeah, shut up.
Yes.
Brucey.
You guys didn't mention that actually. That was a really flat game by Melbourne.
It
last week.
was. I think we were still in Adelaide.
It's a night
'cause we
off.
spent
Yeah.
Look, it was a great effort by us to win those 2 games over
Yes.
there, and we stayed over there after 5 days, and
Got bashed about a bit.
3 games in 13 days is tough.
Yeah.
And they've been on a break, and they need it. They look like they needed it.
A little bit of reality, I think.
Yeah,
This will be a.
completely out of it.
This will be.
So I think the Lions get it done at home.
Me too.
But Cats are in good form.
Ooh.
Should be a cracking game.
They are in good form, but it's up there.
If it wasn't for Brisbane beating Melbourne, I would have said Geelong for sure,
But they beat.
but they didn't. So
So
I'm going for a draw.
okay, draw West Coast. Freo, the Eagles.
Yes, mate, we are coming into the 8.
There's a note there that's.
Louis McKenna Nome.
Yeah.
They're
Surging.
Freo's been, I reckon, the surprise packet of this season. Their defence is rock solid. You know, they're the number one defence in the league at the moment. They're averaging, I think, only 60 odd points a game. So they're, you know, the other way they're struggling to score, but they're not getting scores kicked against. So just by those numbers, I think the Dockers get it done.
Well done.
I agree. I completely agree, actually. I don't think... I mean, Freo should have beaten Carlton in that game. That was a pretty
Why is the West Coast?
disappointing
Are
answer.
you a Perth boy originally?
Yeah, I grew up in Perth.
What a great city. My partner Katie's a Perth, and I love it.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the beaches.
I'm going over there
That's
this
why I've
year.
got no shoes on.
Mozzie,
Because I just keep rolling.
Her parents are in Mozzie Park, so it's a
Oh, yeah. I used to grow up there.
good part of the world with the river and the Cottesloe Beach over the
I
back.
mean, I bet you I know her.
I'm
We'll talk
going
about it
over.
after.
I'm going over to Perth this year.
Because
You
I
should
lived
come
in
with
Mosman
me.
Park for a while.
Sydney Beach.
I can't. I'm on the way back from New York. But if we...
Can
I go?
Yeah.
Quickly.
You can do it instead of me.
Let's get through this. Sydney Suns. I think this is a good game. I think both teams are very similar at the moment. Sydney started well. Gold Coast.
It is.
What's in Sydney? Small ground.
I'll go to Swans.
Yeah. I'd pick the Swans. You, Davo?
I'm going Gold Coast.
Okay. We're going to record all this.
Yep.
And the last game.
Yeah, well, we are.
The Who Cares
That's the
Cup.
point of doing a podcast.
The Who Cares Cup. North.
North versus Hawthorn.
Hawks for me.
Hawthorn has to
I
win
think
this.
the Hawks have to.
They were
but
good.
It wouldn't surprise me Clarko get them up being against the old side that North win the game, but you would hope Hawks.
I think.
I've got a mid-season bet that the Eagles don't finish with a wooden spoon, so I really need Hawthorn to win this one.
Okay. Go the Hawks.
Yeah.
I think if anything, today we've talked a lot about mental strength and how mental your capacity to overcome
Summarising
issues.
podcasts.
Yeah,
hell.
right. I've come a long way since I laboured on this house.
Since the CD.
You know, dealing with
Thanks for coming on the show, Greenie. We've got a signed Russell Robinson higher CD for you.
Look at that.
The only copy.
Nice and airbrushed, isn't
It
it?
is. Look at it.
no, that's natural.
Why don't you have it here in front of the whiskey?
Yeah.
So I don't want it there. I want to get rid of it. No, you can have that.
It's on Spotify. If anyone wants to listen, you can stream it.
Right. Done.
I wouldn't.
That might be once I jump in the car.
If you want to have a good laugh. No, it's overcome.
Summarising, you were doing well.
Overcoming adversity, and we talked about those games in the middle of the game in 2000, and middle of the year 2000, we were able to come back, and anything's possible. You just that mental strength and just forge on every single day, just like you have through your adversity.
Yeah.
Green, you're an inspiration to all of us, and you're a demon, hero, superstar, legend. We love you.
Thanks, Legend.
Thanks for coming on a very
Thanks for
Melbourne
coming on,
podcast.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. See you later.
See you later. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. And it's a short episode tonight.
It was, and that
Untouched.
we need to say before you go, Greenie, that's yours. That's the bottle of I don't know what it is. Triple grain, is it? Triple grain,
And not to be
non-starch.
mixed with Coke.
Oh, you got to drink that straight, mate. Not on the way home.
Probably Tasmanian too.
Proudly Tasmanian.
Tasmanian.
Tasmanian for two Tassie boys. Thank you.
See you, mate.
Awesome, mate.
We'll taste that.
Cool.